All right, folks. Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo. I am in Tennessee. Oh, hello, folks, and welcome to this panel show. I didn't get this up until maybe 25 minutes ago because I just arrived and I needed a beer and I needed to say hi to Valhalla. And oh, so I sent out the invites to the usuals. I don't know if they've seen it, if but they should have through the Twitters and through the emails. Everybody who needs to be here has been sent an invite. Oh, hello, folks. Hey, AV, my knee is better. Did I send you an invite? I don't remember. It's in the mail. And thank you so much. Thank you so much, AV. You haven't been here. Where were you? Yeah, it's been a long it's been a long couple of weeks. It's been a long couple of weeks, but thank you so much. Every one of the usual, Jose. Every one of the usual has gotten their invites. So I'm waiting for people to show up. And thank you, Gigi, for my virtual PO box. If you'd care, hey, let's send Nick a plushie or something. That's the address that Gigi just shared with you. That is my virtual American PO box. That allows me to collect the things and then ship it over to Sweden for a much lower fee. Otherwise, sending things to Sweden cost a ton of money. And although I appreciate everything, I don't want to subject you guys for that one. Yeah, I heard about the technical issues in court today. I was listening while I was driving this morning to the Sasquatch Museum. So, yeah, I don't know how. Do I even have everything? Yeah, let's see if I can fix something in the background so you can see where I went. But everybody, thank you. Okay. Now, what happened these past 2 days? Video, 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 video. Much of what we've seen Thursday and Friday is not much worth of anything, because we know that Woody is, how do we put this, less than truthful. He was less than truthful in 2015, and he is maybe not as truthful now in 2024. Hey, yeah, I got out of Atlanta, even though I'm not sure if Love saw me or not, but if she did, she couldn't do much about it. I was sitting with family. Well, not my family. I was sitting with Jeffrey's family in the back at the spectators. Oh yeah, I was going to. Most of what we are going to watch today is just this. Regarding what happened after the technical issues gone off. But let's. Benjamin Gray says, I miss your recaps of the trial. Your usual streaming time was great for me after regular court day watching other trials. Yeah. I've been on the road. And today was a day Yesterday was a day that I was healing, and today was a day when I just, once I saw that sign, yeah, I need to go to the Sasquatch Museum in Blue Ridge. Did we finish the Jody trial finally? No. Me and Dave next Friday will finish off the Jody Aris trial. How's the knee? It's much better. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Let me pull this.
His knee's fine. His knee's fine. He got out of the car doing a jig.
Hello, everybody.
What's up, y'all?
Meet Valhalla. I'm at Valhalla's place. And we are not related.
Not even a little bit.
No.
Kind of crazy, actually. It's pretty crazy.
No, I am a bit taller.
Yeah, you got a couple inches on you. He does have a few inches on you.
Yeah, and also I'm taller.
Yeah.
GD says hi. Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
There might be beer in this. We checked. We are nowhere near. I mean, maybe go back 600, 700, 800 years, but not anything recently. Not anything recently. We really just. I look like an older version of Valhalla. All right, let's bring up some of the things. Let's start with, I will actually start with today from, let's see here, closed captions, sound. Let me pull this up. Oh, I forgot. Oh, I'm not at my place, and I'm not at a hotel where everything that you see. I got here maybe 45 minutes ago. So, yeah, there. Let's see the start of today before everybody turn that ceiling fan on. Oh, wrong. Yeah, it worked. How my chicken burger thingy was really good. It was really good, actually. Apparently, I didn't know this, by the way, that Chick-fil-A says, oh, it's not burger, we don't kill cows. It's a burger. It's protein between two buns, sauce, lettuce, tomato. It's a burger. Just saying. Will Valhalla be joining you tonight? I hope so. I hope so. He's in that room over there. I do know. I have not launched an OnlyFans account. No, not going to happen. Not going to happen. But for, yeah, one thing. You all remember the absolute cluster F that began this trip with the late flights, with the assistant that took me to the wrong gate. Then I had to pay an extra $800 to get a car with a GPS, even though I prepaid a car. So it wasn't a good start, but thanks to you guys, I'm almost caught up with everything. So I bought a bunch of souvenirs and stuff. I can't wait to show you once I get home. I bought a hat with Texas, a real one from Miller Hats. Posted a video. And for tomorrow, I went to Lego. Yeah, tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern time it is Lego Law and the Lego stream, where me, Dave, and Valhalla will talk or interview while building Legos. So it will be amazing. Thank you, Steph, for your super chat. That is so nice of you. Oh, your super sticker. Oh, I haven't. Dun, dun, dun. I need to see what it is because StreamYard doesn't show it. Dun, dun, dun. I have a lot of tabs open. There it is. Let's see what it was. It was a heart. Oh, thank you so much, Steph. It was a heart. Thank you so much. That is so sweet of you. That is so sweet of you. Oh, that fan is doing wonders. There's a thunderstorm out, by the way, and I don't mind that at all. Oh yeah, do you not have GPS on your phone? I have. Apparently, my Samsung G50 II is not eSIM compatible. So I couldn't get an AT&T eSIM with all the bells and whistles. So I had to get first to an AT&T because my phone doesn't work in the United States. So I had to get to an AT&T and then get to my hotel in Houston. So that was fun. That was another $250 I could have used on more fun stuff. So yeah, but everything is explained in a stream when I got to Houston. You haven't missed anything yet, Keys Mobile. You haven't missed anything yet. Yeah, well, you missed me and Valhalla showing everybody that even though I look like an older version of him, we are really not related at all. Nobody's late. You are just here in time. At your time. Oh, I saw that message, but I log in on Facebook maybe once a week, so I didn't see it until after I left. Sorry about that. But I did go to the Sasquatch Museum on Blue Ridge. And thank you, everybody, for getting me to over 9,000 subscribers. That is bonkers. Thank you so much. Now, let's do a bit of recap of what happened today. Skip. Were that now was that late? Skip. Yes.
Okay. Judge, we're missing Mr. Nichols. That's right.
Magnifique. This trial has been a big joke since pre-trial, since the doorbell hearing.
Do we have anybody for Mr. Nichols?
I've only listened in on Captain Williams' stream on this, so I'm not entirely driving me while
Morning.
I might have missed a bunch.
All right, Mr. Shard, I got your motion limine. Is that something we don't anticipate that coming in today, right? You're just getting a jump on things,
well,
which I applaud.
Well, thank you. It may come up in my cross of Mr. Copeland.
Okay. And it hasn't already been admitted, right?
No, it hasn't.
Okay. And we discussed it a little bit before.
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, I tried to argue 403 about it, and Your Honor did not agree with me. And so I know it's coming in.
Right.
The issue is
That date.
we're assuming that date, and that date, it says that date on the printout, but
Which is not anything like what it looked in the original, right? That looks like it's just added on there. Let's find out.
I'd be speculating.
Okay. Ms. Hilton.
When I looked at Mr. Sharp's motion, I missed it. I didn't see the January.
So there's the picture or the post is attached, and there's this kind of weird little thing floating over the post on the right border.
I'll pull his motion back.
Yes.
If I could clarify, my issue is everyone's been telling me that was posted on January 10th, 2015. The state has been operating on the assumption that is a fact, and I don't.
It hasn't been established.
Yeah, I don't understand how this has been established as a fact.
We'll hear from Ms. Hilton. You want to just look at my copy? Okay.
We're double checking, but my understanding is Quindarius Zachary, I believe in his interview, says that he took this picture and that the picture was taken prior to January 10th. It may have been posted on January 10th.
That's not the issue, is when the picture was taken. The post has this date hovering on it.
Correct.
That's his issue.
Oh,
Right, so-
that one.
As far as the January 10th, I think there's an explanation as to why the January 10th is there. So if it's to come out, there's an explanation for the January 10th.
Okay, so a couple of different things. Did the post ever look like this rendition or do you have what you?
This is one more of the prosecution does screenshots. And not only screenshots, they screen grabs, but also somehow they are doing this hovering over, showing when that picture was published, not when it was actually made. So there's a lot of foundational issues, but Judge Glanville allowed much of that in, even things that was obviously edited and posted by a third party, obviously edited, and it still got in.
You intend to submit? Let's start there.
Your Honor, at this time, we didn't intend to submit this picture into evidence. So
Okay, and what you intend to submit will have this little January 10th box hovering?
Your Honor, we don't even know if we're planning on introducing this picture. So that's why I think he's doing it precautionary.
It doesn't matter if you want to introduce it or not. You still need it proffered to even have it as a possible piece of evidence. Because who knows what was done with it? Who did it? Who did everything? Now I know Mr. Sprinkles is involved in this, but he was the ADA who recommended to dismiss these charges twice to the case manager in the district attorney's office. Twice. So I can't wait for Mr. Sprinkle to be on the stand. Mr. Sprinkle, during the Daubert hearings, and I covered that over a year ago, was, in my opinion, during the Daubert hearings, he was an excellent defense witness. I'm not sure he will do much good for the prosecution, but he's going to be spectacular on that stand. Because from what I heard from him during the Daubert hearing, He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't understand why anything. He recommended charges be dropped, even be in this trial, if I remember correctly. But that was my interpretation at that time. But that's over a year ago.
But this is not a.
Okay.
Hold on.
Well, then I guess, Mr. Shart, you can use the post without the January 10th hovering over it, if you want to use it.
My cards face up on the table. It is, I may want to introduce it, but not if it's going to be otherwise inadmissible. And so
Okay.
I just don't, we've been proceeding like it's a fact that this is taken on January 10th. How do we know that?
So with or without the
Or I'm sorry, not taken, the posted.
posted, what's your basis for asserting that it is posted on January 10th?
I don't know when we've asserted that in trial. This is a picture that we served. It has the January 10th date on it. I don't believe I have ever communicated that we believe or disbelieve that this was taken on January 10th. I think our understanding, and I'm just confirming, is that we believe the picture itself was taken prior to the 10th, but it might have been posted.
I understand.
But whether or not it was on January 10th or how this date arises.
Okay, well, number one, you need to figure out why that January 10th is on there. And number two, if it wasn't posted on January 10th, what's the relevance?
We agree, and that's something that if we decided to enter, we would have determined that. I don't know if this is the picture that we were going to enter, so it's the voluminous amount of information. I don't know if this is a picture.
Right, because y'all haven't exactly organized your case yet. All right, Mr. Shart, they don't know whether they're going to use it or not. And they don't seem to, it would not at this point be admissible, but I can't tell you if it might be admissible at some other point when they get their case organized.
And you're right, it's not about the case not being organized, it's about whether or not we were using this particular piece of evidence. Like there.
Somebody new, but somebody you have seen before on my channel just popped in. Potentially criminal.
I heard a lot of really. Are you at the part where all the bad stuff happens?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm just at the beginning of the day. Then we will get there. We will get there.
Okay. Also, how are you doing, Nick?
I'm doing better. I'm at Valhalla's place, and I have beer. I'm doing good.
Awesome.
Yeah. And prior to being here, I was at the Sasquatch Museum in Georgia.
Ooh.
That was amazing. Oh, that was amazing. That was amazing. And it's not one of these tourist traps things. They genuinely have research and stuff and documentaries. And yeah, it was fun.
Oh, of course.
He's out. Or I'm just not hearing him. Try again, Sean. Sean did an amazing stream about a week ago regarding the motions to motions from his trial. Amazing stuff. I still can't hear you, Sean. All right, let's continue.
We have a multiple of social media.
Right. Well, you don't know whether you're using it, and you don't know whether it is relevant. So, because you don't know when it was posted or why you think January 10th is on there. So we just don't know. So,
Your Honor, in the previous motion, the state asserted it was posted a couple hours after the killing of Donovan Thomas. So if that is not the case and they cannot assert that, I would ask that this post be deemed inadmissible because it has no relevance and it.
I'm not going to deem it inadmissible because maybe at some point during their case, they'll come up with why they think that. Do you know what motion it was in? Maybe that'll help Ms. Hilton get to the source of
Why?
It was argued in front of you.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay. I'm trying to remember what brought it up.
Maybe it was Ms. Love. I don't know. Maybe you need to speak with co-counsel.
Yes, I'm trying to. I believe we were going through the proposed exhibits.
Hello again, Sean. Got things working? He muted himself. Well, he's here.
Upcoming, and I brought that up, but
Yeah, you brought it up. I don't think we have gone through much social media yet. So I think you brought it up and they said, but I don't remember who the they was over there at the time.
I don't believe it was me or.
Okay, well, maybe check with Ms. Love. But I think it's going to be several hours, if even today, before there's any cross-examination anyway. So maybe we'll know the answer by the time we get to the cross-examination portion of the case. Also, that reminds me that with regard to cross-examination, I know, Mr. Steele, you had at one point.
Okay, the link to subscribe. If you're using iOS, the app, YouTube app, you have to go out of the YouTube app and into the web browser, I think. Otherwise, it should be right down there somewhere. Oh, perfect. That had got me a thing. Let's see. He got me one of these. Thank you. On, geez. Hey, hello. All right. Sean is working stuff out.
No, I'm here. I'm here. I'm good now.
Okay, you're good now. Okay. Yeah, I was just telling folks you did an amazing stream when you went through the motions for mistrial, and I can't. There's every reason to grant mistrial with prejudice in this trial, but it seems like
you've heard of Judge Judy. We got Judge Janny up there. Let's start that, guys. Let's start that. Judge Janny. Just sweeping it up.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like everybody is just, let's get through this and let the appeals court handle if we did wrong. And that is so cowardice.
It is. It is. Remember, judges are naturally risk-averse people. They're risk-averse that, like, I'll let someone else handle it.
Yeah.
And they know that it's never going to change.
Yeah. And it's infuriating because Judge Whitaker has been on the short list for the Georgia Supreme Court for, I mean, when a position opens up, she will probably be on the Georgia Supreme Court. Why not just act like it?
Wow, did you see what the lady running against Fannie Willis said, Courtney Kramer?
No, I haven't seen.
She released a press release saying, if I'm elected, I promise to end the prosecution immediately and release them.
Oh, folks of Georgia?
Fulton County.
Fulton County.
Yeah.
I mean, what does a big roadside banner cost? I mean, $4,000 to $6,000, something of the sort. I actually checked it. Yeah, but I have no idea how it works if I'm even allowed to. But either way, if you want to get rid of Fannie Willis, I'm sure there are some way to donate to her opponent. What's her name again?
Courtney Kramer.
Courtney Kramer.
Coutney. Thugger Daily. Here, I'm going to send you the link so you have it.
Oh, Fannie Willis faces former Trump lawyer as challenger in Atlanta. Okay.
Yeah, here you go. Here's the her press release is there if you want to show it real quick.
Private.
Yeah.
Open. Oh. Why don't you want to be bigger? Okay. Save picture. Darn it.
You can open it as a new image, and then you're using Windows.
Okay. Let's check that one out. StreamYard. I'm going to stop screen. Present. Share screen. Share screen. Window. There it is. Add to stage. Let's see here. For immediate release, official press release, Atlanta, Georgia. The following is a statement from Fulton County District Attorney Republican nominee Courtney Kramer regarding the ongoing YSL RICO trial. As the Republican nominee for Fulton County District Attorney, I have watched the ongoing trial and endless prosecution of YSL. With no apparent justice in sight, I have become highly concerned and disappointed in the lack of prosecutorial oversight in this case. As time goes on, the public has tirelessly witnessed a trial that is undoubtedly over-prosecuted by attorneys who have repeatedly been admonished for lack of trial preparation, a complete and utter waste of the court's time. Prosecutors even had one judge condemn the state for not following the ethical and legal duty to disclose exculpatory evidence that could have proved fruitful for the defense, one of the most basic requirements in the courtroom. With more than 180 acts, it's 196, listed in the indictment with 28 defendants, this case was brought to bring fame to current DA Fannie Willis, not to bring justice to the community. I am absolutely dumbfounded as to the motives in spending endless amounts of taxpayers' dollars on a prosecution that is based almost entirely on witnesses with little to no credibility. Yeah, my rough estimate. Now, this is lawyer math, but this is a $10 million per year.
Probably.
I mean, I think I'm conservative.
And the court costs mount every day. So, like, there's court costs that haven't been assessed yet.
Yeah.
That every day you're in court, there's court costs and reporters' fees and all this stuff that gets tacked on. So when, like, you get convicted or plea out, you get smacked with court fees. Let's say this goes to a verdict and they get acquitted. The amount of court fees in this. Now, granted, it's the government paying the government, but the money has to get shifted around. Like, there's going to be a substantial amount of money that has to get paid.
Yeah. And when I was there a couple of days ago, there are always at least four security inside the courtroom. There are 3 on standby.
Are you talking about the Young Thug courtroom?
Yeah.
Did you get to go in there?
Yeah.
Were you in there while the people were going?
Yeah, I was in there.
Did you have like a big Brian Steele like foam finger in?
Well, I got to talk to Mr. Harvey. And,
cool.
Yeah, and I got to talk a little bit with just pleasantries with Woody's new attorney. And I said hi to Mr. Steele. And a couple of points. I know that some defense attorneys was looking over at my direction.
Cool.
Miss Hilton did not acknowledge me at all, and Miss Love, I don't think she saw me. But I can say this without a shadow of a doubt: there's not one person in that courtroom, including the prosecution's table, that likes Miss Love. Not
That
one.
wouldn't surprise me.
But here's somebody I like. Sadie Nash.
Hola, come on, how's everything going?
It's doing great. I was showing first the morning bit, but now we're reading through the press release from Willis' opponent in the coming election.
Yeah, the mighty November election.
Yeah.
I reached out to her for an interview, so we'll see if that happens or not. So
Nice. Yeah. And we were just going through how much this
Have you
trial
seen
actually
the press
cost.
release you just put out?
I did. I'm gonna break it down tomorrow because I want to kind of.
This is impressive.
I think the only kind of big problem I see with it is two things. Talk about the money that is costing the taxpayers and what you plan to do with the money. Then talk about other things that you are pushing. Like, if I'm a voter, I don't give a damn about this. What about my money? Like, what initiatives are you gonna do? What, you know what I'm saying? Like, I hate to say it this way, but this is a rich person who is fighting for his life. It's not like, you know, I'm just not.
Some of them are. Some of them are.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
rich person is what I said. So they're saying it's the young thug YSL trial. It's like Gladys Knight. So
yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
But I mean, at the end of the day, if I'm voting in Fulton County, I want to know what else are you going to push as DA?
Yeah.
So
I mean, there are so many cases in the docket. There are so many people unindicted in Fulton County Jail and other jails that are still waiting for the bond hearing.
Right.
Who's been there for almost a year, and some people over a year. And what about these people? And the two people who are responsible is Fonnie Willis and Judge Glanville. Because Judge Glanville is the person who is supposed to make sure that these get sped up. And he doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's re-elected again, unopposed. Ugh. But where were let's see, where we were here. Not only have I lost any ounce of faith that the justice in fact is being served and the people of Fulton County are being advocated for in an ethical and transparent manner, but this case should have ended by now. Even former DA Paul Howard declined to bring this case, and now the public can see why. If I'm elected, the next district attorney of Fulton County, I promise to end this prosecution immediately. I challenge my opponent to do the same thing, the right thing, and end this prosecution and release those who are accused in this case and who are being held without bond. If elected, I intend to restore justice, transparency and integrity to the office of the district attorney, and the dismissal of the Whiteside case will be my first official action toward that goal. Fulton County citizens should feel safe in their own homes, parking their cars on the street, and shopping in their own communities. Victims of those crimes should know that their elected prosecutor prioritizes spending taxpayers' dollars clearing the backlog of kids and not prosecuting cases for media attention. Well, every district attorney will prosecute cases for media attention. That's just the way it is. Not maybe to the extent Fonnie Willis does, but she had her own goal. She wanted to be the next attorney general, and she thought she would get there by RICO cases and sleeping with her subordinates, or at least one of them. I don't know. that was that one.
To the lady that said, I'm a Fonnie Willis supporter.
Sure.
Yeah, all
Sure.
right.
Yeah. Sure. So,
All right.
what part of Fonnie do you support? Do you support screwing with married men? Do you?
She obviously don't know who I am, so it's beyond hilarious to even say that. Like, I don't. You obviously don't know who I am, and you never visited my channel because I literally have 3, and I mean 3 freaking videos that absolutely obliterate Fonnie Willis.
Yeah.
So, with no disrespect, when I say this, you have no idea what you're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
the thing is this: if you're voting someone into public office, you should know the things, plural, that they want, not just one thing. So I'm not giving a dang about no doggone YSL RICO because I'm more curious about everything else involved, not just this. As she just said, hey, it's not about spotlight, and I'm going to dismiss the YSL RICO. You just got the spotlight by saying that. That's media attention right there. That's contradictory because the first thing you just said was about the biggest thing playing in media. So she didn't say, she could have came out and said, we're not going to continue to abuse the RICO statutes that are going to cost taxpayers millions. No, she did the exact same thing that she accused Fonnie Willis of, but just in a different way.
Yeah.
So please, for the love of goodness, don't accuse me of being something without doing your research. I just see through things in a different lens.
Yeah.
And you disagree with that.
Somebody complained about an echo, and I have.
I don't think it's me.
I think they're saying it's me. Let me swap out and use my other phone. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Man, I was gonna say he was on a tear there for a second. I was just letting him go. I was like, damn, he's cooking.
Yeah. Oh, okay, but we were just about into the morning session of today. Now, I will not play any of Woody's videos because it really isn't that interesting. It's more of the same. The only thing that is remotely funny about at least one of the videos is that the investigators are wearing broad stripe, both of them, broad stripe hoodies, which over here, not over here where I am now, but over in Sweden is the transition clothing for prisoners is broad striped clothes. When they go to prison, they have the civilian clothes, and then in the transition, when they get the cell and everything, they wear the stripes so the guards can distinguish them from the regulars. And I find that extremely amusing to see investigators in prison stripes. Oh, and it's quite fitting because both of them, in my opinion, should be there. Okay, let's keep going.
Suggested an interest in cross-examining Mr. Copeland as to everything that went on during the ex parte, and some of that is no longer relevant. So anything, I mean, if you want to cross about things that the state said to him or that he said to the state, that's fine, but we have, I think, both circumvented and the whole coercion issue, and he has now been properly and correctly advised by this court and had.
Was he really properly advised by this court? And I do remember them talking about this. Not quite, because there's nothing in his immunity deal that says a federal prosecutor can't say, okay, but we have other evidence. Because their promise to him was that he couldn't be prosecuted for the things he said on the stand. He can, just not with the things he says on the stand, which are two completely different things. And especially if this trial goes to a mistrial or gets overturned, you can bet your ass somebody is going after somebody.
Oh yeah,
And
and you're breaking down immunity like that. Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. Yeah, they can't use that against you directly, but if you reveal something, they can use that to go investigate.
Yeah,
So,
they just don't have to. Yeah, they just don't have to use that part. I mean, so I don't think he's been properly advised by the court. And I don't know what his lawyer has told him. And yeah, but I would assume, I mean, I'm trying to picture myself in a federal prosecutor's shoes who's seen the state court completely screw up a case.
Here, I can tell you how that would work. That federal prosecutor, that U.S. attorney is saying, what? And he's laughing. He's like, I didn't agree to that.
Yeah.
And he's going to laugh and say, you yokels down in state court.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll indict who I damn well please.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I mean, as the federal RICO statute is not as broad and vague as the Georgia statute, but they still allow, if there is a murder charge in there, to apply that statute of limitations, which means everything else comes along, even if the statute of limitations have run by the other charges. And Woody admitted, and now they can investigate and see what else can we find. Can we find a prison snitch? There's a lot of prison snitches.
Oh yeah, a lot of prison snitches are willing to snitch for a lot of reasons. It's an industry.
Oh yeah. Everybody wants out of prison.
Mm-hmm. And they'll all offer to snitch about anything. It's almost like you pull up to a guy. It's like, hey, what can you build for me? I'll snitch whatever you want.
Yeah. In the Zachariah Anderson case, Munch, the prison snitch, who went on the stand with the sleepwalking confession thing, which was so hilariously stupid. But now Munch, who was facing 20 years to life because he's been in the system so many times for 20 kilos of different substances. That was what he was facing. 3 months after Zachariah was convicted, Munch was a free man. From facing 20 years to a free man. And people say, some people, often prosecutors say, they have nothing to gain by lying. They have everything to gain by lying. If they're not believed, they're still in prison. If they are believed, they are free to go. Oh. Is it still bad audio? Oh, yeah, they are talking about. They are talking about the audio in the videos. Yeah, it's different in the courtroom. I could almost hear what they were saying in the videos, even I. So it's completely different in the courtroom. Okay, let's continue.
The advice and counsel of 3 different attorneys that I know of. So that should no longer be an issue. And so that should no longer be relevant. So I would not permit examination or testimony about that. All right.
Well, of course it's okay because you are the honorable court. But I will make an attorney proffer.
Okay.
Because if you'll accept it, otherwise I could do it with Mr. Copeland. But I respectfully disagree. Okay. Mr. Copeland, on the 7th of June 2024.
Yeah, they are talking about the coercion, and because Mr. Steele wants to question Woody about things Mr. Glanville said. That is what the judge doesn't want to allow. And I think he should be.
Stated, and in my way I understand the law, he doesn't have a Fifth Amendment, but he refused to testify. And he
Correct.
And he used the Fifth Amendment
Mhm.
as whatever, his statement. He made it clear to me as a reader of the June 10th, 2024 ex parte meeting that he was not going to testify. He said in court, outside the presence of the jury, that he was pressured. Please check the record with Ms. Winfrey. If he didn't use that word, he used a similar word.
Mhm.
He would never have testified except for that ex parte meeting where Judge Glanville pressured him, as well as Ms. Hilton. So I believe that it does go to his state of mind while he started to testify. Your Honorable Court, correctly, in my understanding of the law, told him what is his options and how long he's looking in custody, and told him, I believe, the decision's his. The legal decision, though, will trigger you to have to exercise your discretion and hold him in contempt. So I believe that the jury gets to determine that information. In addition to that, Judge Glanville was with us since January 4th of 2023. This jury is all selected from the very first panel. To me, he was biased in front of the jury. I understand that what you said, that, no statement, I appreciate what you said. No statement made by the former court disparaging of lawyers should be considered, or whatever the words were. But there's also going to be a jury instruction that nothing that the court says is intimated an opinion. And I disagree in this case with that instruction. I'm going to object to that instruction. And I need the jurors to understand that Judge Glanville, I will make it clear. I will make it clear. I will make it clear I am excluding this honorable court. But Judge Glanville pressured him. And I will argue to the jury that Judge Glanville was biased. And that is admissible because it all happened in front of the jury. And from just Judge Glanville's demeanor, and I'm not here to hurt Judge Glanville. In fact, I like Judge Glanville, but I don't know what happened in this case, but I like him before this case. But the way he conducted himself to people in this courtroom, I've never really seen a judge do. So I want to ask Mr. Copeland, it is very important to me to explain that he was taken against his desire into Judge Glanville's chambers, that he was with Judge Glanville, Ms. Hilton, his lawyer. I'll make it all perfect. If I don't, you could admonish me and the state can correct me, but I'm not here to snowball anybody. But to say that I can exclude statements of Judge Glanville and, most importantly, the conscious or subconsciousness of this witness, because I believe, and I've not spoken with him, Your Honor. I've not spoken with his lawyer about it, but I believe that Mr. Copeland will truthfully say that he believed that Judge Glanville and the state of Georgia are one. And that comes out when Judge Glanville specifically says, and I don't remember the transcript page right now, but it's something to the effect of, we need your testimony. There's no we. Nobody needs anybody's testimony. If he didn't want to testify, I've had witnesses tell me, I'm not testifying. We subpoena them and come to court. They're held in contempt. There's nothing that the judge can do because the judge can't give immunity, so they can't compel the person to do it. So the person invokes their Fifth Amendment and they just leave. That is unfortunate, but that's a reality. There is no we. So with all that being said, I'm making an attorney proffer that if you prevent me from doing that, and Judge Glanville prevented me already, I'm just telling you, he prevented me from cross-examining Agent Racy. He's an FBI agent on misstatements made by the prosecution, knowing the prosecution, it was Ms. Hilton, knew that a gentleman who's the same last name as a court reporter entered an invalid, coerced guilty plea. Judge Glanville stopped me again from getting into the truth of that matter. It's never been corrected. The point I'm trying to make to you is that all came out in front of the jury. So yes, I am going to intend to do, I will follow your rule, obviously, but I intend to cross-examine Mr. Copeland, not only what was said by Ms. Hilton, but what was said by Judge Glanville. I will be respectful. I'm not here to, throw some odd names about Judge Glanville. I will just be very specific. And then if he doesn't answer my questions, I'm stuck with his answer of, I don't recall, or whatever has been going on in this courtroom. But I don't believe that you should limit the cross-examination. I didn't do that. All that to me, that was very hurtful to me. And I don't mean hurtful. I mean, it was offensive to our law. That's how I took that. And I know what you said about it. I know what Judge Krause said about it. I look at it totally differently. I've never had a judge do that. I've done a lot of appeals. I know you've done a lot. I've never read a judge doing that. I've never seen a prosecutor do that. So I think that the jurors are entitled to know, and I think Mr. Williams, because he's the one who, God forbid, gets sentenced if I lose, I think they are entitled to know what caused Mr. Copeland from the 7th to be locked up. The jurors saw that. They saw that. He was testifying. He answered maybe 3 questions, maybe 5. He said, I'm not testifying. He invoked his 5th. The jurors were sent out, and he was gone. Jurors come out, and they're dismissed. He's just not there. We're on a long delay. I think that it is not irrelevant to this matter. I think it is more than relevant. I think it's probative. And this is the actual treatment by the former court and the current district attorneys of this case.
Okay, I understand your argument, and I am not making my ruling in any sort of an effort to protect Judge Glanville. I do not believe it is relevant to the issues for this jury to determine. With regard to whether Mr. Copeland's testimony between the 7th and the 10th was, I'm sorry, between the 10th and the 12th, was impacted by the ex parte on the 10th. I asked everybody, do we want to do the entirety of Mr. Copeland's testimony over? And everybody said, no, we want what got to.
Yeah, but here's the difference, Judge Whitaker, is that the baseline for this was you from the 12th going forward. Now, did he make statements between the 10th and the 12th that is useful for the defense? Yes, of course. Was it? That doesn't take away from was it coerced? Even if he said it voluntarily or not, it was still said. That doesn't take away the coercion bit. And you haven't made a ruling on that.
Testified to between the 7th and the 12th at 3 p.m. So y'all had the opportunity to have it all done over, and you chose not to do that. You can ask him about the immunity and whether he'd be testifying without being ordered to. That's fine. But beyond that, the ins and outs of what happened in the ex parte with regard to whether there was a biased judge or not are, in this court's legal opinion, not relevant to these issues. And honestly,
that remark, I remember I reacted to it when I listened to it this morning. She's very careful here.
This is janitorial work.
Sorry, what you say?
This is janitorial work. She is sweeping up right now. This is Judge Janie sweeping up the pieces.
Yeah. But also by conditioning this to her the legal, she takes away the moral. So, but as you say, she's sweeping because she knows it's bad, but she has law to back her up on this. So she would use the law to back it up. And that is what is, as you said, sweeping. But her conditioning by saying it the legal makes me believe that she knows exactly how wrong this is. I mean, there's no way she can't. Everybody who made first year law school knows this is so bad. And did you hear? I think it will come up later. Woody was denied food and water the entire weekend.
Yes, I've heard that. Yes.
And
And the fact that that's not being brought up, that this man has been intimidated at this point, like that should call into question everything that's happened to him. And then, they shifted him to another jail.
Yeah. And denied contacting his family because the system was down, which is, well, then find a burner phone. There's ways around that. But I suspect it was them punishing him. Red Bunny, can they do another motion for a mistrial and bring up Woody not being fed or given water now that that's come out? They can. You can file anything, but I don't think it will work. I really don't. But this is one of these things upon information and belief, because Woody said so. And you need more than Woody's word for it.
Well, remember, guys, we just went through all this other stuff and nothing's happened.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's not going to get you a mistrial, what will get you a mistrial?
Yeah, I mean, that should, in my personal, not so humble opinion, she could have just sat down, said, I've been looking through what happened here. There is no way I'm going to allow this to continue. She had that option. And she should have done it. But she didn't, because they want this out of state court and then let the appeals court decide if they did wrong. And it's so cowardice.
Honestly, even the "we need your testimony," Judge Glanville had made a determination that Mr. Copeland's testimony and compelling that testimony by an immunity grant was in the public's interest. And so the "we" there is Judge Glanville, or can very easily be understood to be Judge Glanville saying, "we, the public." And
oh, fuck. No, you can't.
There's no royal we here.
Does she honestly believe Judge Glanville in that ex parte when he says "we," he meant "we the people"?
But also, the public doesn't need, that means the public wants to convict YSL, which means the public is biased against the defendant. He's not getting a fair trial.
Yeah. I mean,
although he's going to say, well, the public needs your truth to determine. It's like, bullshit. Once again, remember, Judge Judy, we got Judge Danny. Sweeping it up.
Yes, YouTube. I said fork and nothing else. Fork as in knife and fork. It's the accent. But I mean, she's now putting her. I mean, she's putting what Glanville. He maybe meant we, the public, as in me and the public. Well, call him as a witness and ask him. That's the answer to that one. What did you actually mean? Say it in front of the jury. But that won't happen. This is not a logical stretch. It's a logical somersault. This is logic at an Australian Olympic breakdancer level.
No, this isn't even that. She's just like, fuck you, I'm ignoring it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to swear, but she's just saying, no, but She's like, this is like in The Fugitive. I didn't do it. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's like, or it's like the Duke Nukem meme. That's a lot of words. Too bad I can't read.
Oh, yeah. By the way, folks, I'm drinking beer. There will be curse words. This stream will probably not be monetized. So if you wouldn't mind, I have shared my PayPal. So $1 or $5 would carry me a long way. Thank you so much. But let's hear some more bull crap.
Not we, me, and the state. So I appreciate your proffer, but my ruling
Also,
stands.
I just want to say
Can I
real
just
quick.
add to that then?
Sure.
So
If I was Brian Steele, I'd say, who the fuck put the nickel in you that you can determine what the hell Glanville meant?
Yeah.
You're speculating as to what he meant.
Yeah. The amount of bull crap they have put in front of the jury to make that determination, what actually was meant and said, wouldn't this be an excellent thing to put in front of the jury to decide if this was coercion or not? I mean, they put everything else under the sun in front of the jury that is vaguely has something to do with this trial. Him explaining why, when he said, "We need your testimony," meant, no, I meant me and the public, not me and the prosecutors. Yeah, sure.
So it's in the eyes, the mind, and the ears of Mr. Copeland, not a reader who can say, well, that's the public. In addition, Judge Glanville said to Mr. Copeland, on cross-examination, you are going to get tremendous cross-examination. And they know you better than we do. So they know what you did. The they, I would ask Mr. Copeland, is referring to Mr. Williams, Mr. Ryan, Mr. Nichols, Mr. Stillwell, Mr. Kendrick, and Mr. Huey. And that presumes guilt because Mr. Williams does not know the reality that Mr. Copeland has done.
All right, I need to. Solonist Polly cannot have any respect for a bumming for money. Then fuck off. I run this channel and I'm losing money each month. That's what I'm doing. What I'm asking for, since sometimes curse words makes this demonetized, and I always say, don't give what you don't have. So if you don't like it, fuck off.
Done all this other things like pull a gun on Mr. Watts that he admitted today, shot into a barber shop that he admitted to on the stand. These are outrageous conducts. For Judge Glanville to make that statement, yes, the jurors should hear about it and the effect of Mr. Copeland. And you are respectfully taking away the opportunity that we are all given. Judge Glanville did this to a witness that's currently testifying. And if you don't realize this, because this is, I think your first witness. This is a big witness. He has been spoken about the entire case. I opened on him. I said that Mr. Copeland killed Donovan Thomas. To remove this, I believe, is going to be under the analysis of has to be harmless beyond a reasonable doubt because it's a constitutional violation. So I'd ask you to listen to the remainder of the June 10th, 2015 statement because he's going to talk about, he already has, and if you can't understand it, the transcript seems to be, in my opinion, fairly accurate, where he talks about Mr. Williams. And if he didn't testify, none of this comes in. I think the jury gets to know that and why he testified. And it was because Judge Glanville held hands with Ms. Unlove and Ms. Hilton, and they coerced this man to testify, pressured this man to testify, whatever his word would be. So I ask you to just I understand your ruling. I'm going to follow your ruling. I hope I made a good attorney proffer on cross, but those are the topics I would go in. I would not go into, and he also was, by the way, I have, based on information belief, he wasn't fed and did not drink from Friday when he was held in custody until Monday when he's in that star chamber. So I think that that goes to his frame of mind as well. So, and when I say he, I'm talking about Mr. Copeland. And he was put into a jail in DeKalb County where the system was down, at least that's what he was told. He couldn't contact a family member. So I think that all that adding up to make his determination that, yes, I think that it's a corrupt system and the judge and the DA were going to hold me for not only this trial, but who knows how long 26 people can dispose of their case.
All right. Well, that part we definitely dealt with. If he was not given, or you have reason to believe he was not given food or drink between Friday and Monday, that's something that certainly should have been raised in the coercion.
And here she goes on to say, should have been raised in your motion prior. Only if they knew about it. Only if they knew about it. And this is quite new information. So how, yeah. And if I'm reading the things correctly, if I remember it correctly, the judge has the discretion to bring this up herself. The prosecution or the defense doesn't have to make this motion at all. She can make this determination on her own.
Motions that several of you filed, because that might have impacted between the 10th and the 12th. But again, you all decided you wanted the testimony between the 10th and the 12th. And that was a strategic decision on your part because you believed that there were beneficial things that he said during that testimony. I think that advice that these defendants, through their attorneys, would vigorously cross-examine Mr. Copeland is correct and accurate advice, and that these defendants know him better than the state's attorneys know him or anybody else is not inaccurate as well. If you would like to, understanding the parameters of my ruling, provide some questions that you believe should appropriately be asked, I'm happy to consider those. And it may be that there are, I mean, you can absolutely, again, ask him about the immunity grant and the, you know, even right now, whether he is only doing this because it's avoiding jail for him. That's fine.
Which probably will be a good question and will render a correct answer. Woody does everything to avoid jail. But first of all, thank you so much from Iron Rabbit for $25 via PayPal. Thank you so much. And from Lisa, $10. Thank you so much. She said, glad you visited the United States. I'm sure you were reminded you're glad you don't live here with so BS allowed in our court system, among other things you experience. Happy you enjoyed Bigfoot. I mean, the main takeaway so far is something I already knew since last time I was here in 1998. The people. If you take away politics, don't talk religion, I've not met a person I didn't like in the United States. And yeah, the United States is it the first line in the Constitution or whatever it is? We the people. United States is the people, and I love the people of the United States.
You could explore that completely. All right.
You say it to Mr. Short all the time, and I always tell him,
I have to make an exception. I don't care what Miss Love's politics or religion is. She is a demon worshipping thing that probably sacrifices baby lambs to Satan. Okay.
don't say okay, because it seems like you're
Well,
waving it. So no, it's not.
By which I mean, all right, do you understand? Not all right, do you accept my ruling? Because I know you will abide by it, but you do not agree with the correctness of it.
Yes. And then the last thing I'd like to say, if I may.
Yeah.
When this honorable court said I didn't take up the opportunity to strike the entire testimony from the June 10th to the 12th, that's the law. The law is until that motion is filed of recusal. So I'm following the law, and there were beneficial points. I mean, you just read the transcript where he testified under pressure or not, but that is in the case. So I believe that I have a right to ask him about, those days before you took over, before you gave him the proper admonitions and the correct law. So that's
Okay.
all.
Thank you. So that the record is clear, I am suggesting that obviously the law with regard to
Thank you, Mel.
the timing once a recusal motion has been granted, what you have to undo. Yes. What I'm saying is if you believed that there was coercion starting at some point earlier than that, based on a lack of food and drink or any kind of treatment like that, then that could have been brought up. And y'all chose not to bring that up or not to make that argument. And you all could have agreed to redo the entirety of the testimony, or you could have asked to redo the entirety of the testimony on the basis of it having been coerced, and I would have considered that.
Well, at the time, I was following the court's order, which I didn't think I even needed an order, but that I could cross-examine Mr. Copeland on everything that happened on the ex parte meeting. And that's when I made my ruling, or not ruling, sorry. That's when I said, I don't want it out. In addition to that, I didn't want it out because I want to cross-examine him on why he did it. It's why he testified from the 10th to the 12th. That's part of the case. And I think that it goes to the jurors. The jurors are entitled to know who the prosecutors are and who the judge was. And it goes to their bias, their interest in the case, and their motivation on how they are prosecuting this case. So.
Okay, I don't think that any order that I issued led you to believe that you would be able to, well, it may have led you to believe, but I don't think it should have reasonably led you to believe that you would be able to explore anything about what Judge Glanville said or did during that ex parte.
I think that it was clear to me, whether you said it or not, the way I understand the rules, that's a part of this case, that's a part of this witness, and that it comes out on cross or direct examination. The prosecutors can sit here and say, now, maybe they're going to do it. I have no reason to believe that they are or not. But Mr. Copeland, we had a misunderstanding on June 10th, and we had a meeting with the judge, and your lawyer was there the whole time. They could do all that as well. But
And thank you to Lorenza. I don't know your name on the YouTubes, but thank you so much for your $5 via PayPal. Thank you so much. And that is a 30-minute timeout for Pete. Folks, I can curse because it's my channel. Use foul language that the YouTube doesn't like to get me demonetized. Yeah, that will get you a timeout, just a half an hour. If you return, you're getting yeeted permanently. And that is my general rule, that you get at least one chance. If I have to be very wordly about it, and you continue over and over again to do I mean, if you're going to troll, at least be funny. Make it worth my while. Folks, I've been doing labor law for over 30 years. I've heard it all. Every stupid thing you can ever imagine. At least entertain me. All right, let's continue. Oh, Sean gone. Okay.
I don't see handcuffing Mr. Williams' lawyer on cross-examination when it is a reality case. Just like Mr. Copeland went out and spoke on a jail call and made statements about things. That's his state of mind at the time. It may be relevant. I think it's relevant here. I think it's relevant that Judge Glanville did this and Miss Hilton did this.
You can ask about anything Miss Hilton did.
No, I understand you did not limit that, but you're limiting the way I heard you today. I have to almost excise Judge Glanville, and that's what I'm objecting.
All right. Yes, sir.
Just so I'm clear, with what the court just ruled, we can ask about things that Ms. Hilton said to Mr. Copeland during that ex parte meeting. We just can't label an ex parte. This is what I'm concerned with. There's a lot of confusion and I think misunderstanding of this immunity. I understand the order that was granting him use and derivative use immunity. However, Ms. Hilton articulated to Mr. Copeland in chambers much more than that. For instance, my understanding of law, and Your Honor, I know that you've dealt with these issues more than me. The statute of limitations is not what we normally think it to be. It's not from the date of the offense. It's told if there's no evidence of who committed the offense.
Mhm.
That's one, the perpetrator has to be known. So Ms. Hilton said, for instance, we'll use the barbershop shooting.
Yes, I have been waiting for what Mr. Short is saying out right now. The statute of limitations is not from when the act was committed. It is from when the perpetrator is reasonably known. And I don't know if Woody was ever a suspect in that drive-by. If he wasn't, then the statute of limitation started 2 days ago or 3 days ago. Okay. Thank you, Kevin, for becoming a member. Thank you to Vince for yet again becoming a member. And you now have access to my members-only emojis, my members-only content on YouTube, and I need to post the link to the Discord so you can get in there and talk to the other members. And thank you to Polly Popcorn for your $10 super chat. It says, a good troll is hard to come by. Yeah, most of them are really lazy. I mean, do better, be entertaining. And thank you to Melinda for your $20-something via PayPal. Thank you so much. That is so sweet of you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Christ Records 2016. But didn't judge say that the statute of limitations was incorrectly stated to the witness? So shouldn't we be following the new rule? Yeah, I agree. But I believe the judge and the prosecution can only state the rules. It is his lawyers, new lawyers' job to tell Woody what it actually infers to. For example, if he never was a suspect in that drive-by, then the statute of limitation just started.
Ms. Hilton said, oh, all this stuff is older than 4 years, so you can never be prosecuted. That you could be prosecuted
Yeah,
for the
that's
barbershop
true.
shooting.
But here's the
They would just
thing,
have to put a tolling provision.
is that's not relevant either, because it is not the fact that the statute of limitations may or may not have run that prevents the state from prosecuting him for something he wants to get on the stand and confess to. It is the grant of immunity that prevents that. So regardless of the correctness or incorrectness of statute of limitations comments, they cannot use anything he gets on the stand and confesses to because they granted him immunity, or the court has granted him immunity.
But in my mind, here's the difference. The state has made a deal with the, quote unquote, I'm not calling the man the devil, but that's the saying. And there's a difference between them saying, oh, we're giving you use and derivative use immunity versus them saying, we will absolutely not prosecute you. They have basically, I don't know if they checked with Rich Homie Kwan's father, but they've basically given this man carte blanche to never be prosecuted for anything he says. And if I was representing Kenneth Copeland later on and they indicted him for something like this, I would say, y'all must be crazy. Y'all got in the back room and told this man, you guys are never prosecuting him. So they've done more than giving him use immunity. They've given him blanket immunity for everything. And that, to me, is fertile ground for impeachment and cross-examination.
Yeah, I believe here is when the judge she doesn't understand what is being said here. They are not saying he's getting a carte blanche for everything he's done or will do. All they're saying is that the prosecution's promise for him to not being prosecuted for anything he says on the stand is simply incorrect. They might do it, but they might only be there until the next election. And it's not federal immunity, and it doesn't say that, it doesn't mean that the next prosecutor can say to an investigator, okay, show me every other evidence but that and see what we get.
And I think the jury needs to know they want Jeffrey Williams, they want Shannon Stillwell, they want these people so bad that they gave Mr. Copeland just full reign to run around Atlanta, do all these things, and as long as you get up on the stand, we're never going to prosecute you. And I think that's relevant.
Okay, well, they didn't give him full reign to go do things he hasn't done yet. So, I mean, let's not get too far afield with this.
Well,
you may explore any kind of interest he might have in testifying in a way that might be beneficial to the state, although I don't think that's happened anyway, because you could explore bias. You're entitled to do that, but we're not getting, this is not a trial about how the state handled Mr. Copeland or how Judge Glanville handled Mr. Copeland. This is a trial about whether these defendants, whether the state can prove that these defendants committed the acts that they allege them to have committed. And if you want, again, you also, all of you all are welcome if you want to give me a list of questions that or that you believe should be able to be asked. I can look at them.
Very well, Your Honor.
All right.
Go ahead, Mr.
I just want to raise something
Sure.
while you hopefully reconsider. And this was mostly, the prosecutors. I think Mr. Atkins, I was going to exclude him, but I think he did it too. They asked witnesses, to my knowledge, without any basis, well, you're testifying this way, but have you ever had to testify before in front of Mr. Williams? When you were giving your statements, was Mr. Williams present? And then they did it with everybody. Was Mr. Huey present?
Right.
I've objected every time. And it's totally, that's a crime of witness intimidation without any evidence. It's just, and they say, no, I haven't testified at all, but I don't remember, or I told you something wrong, or I didn't say that to you. I want to do now and show what the state is doing to witnesses. And I'm telling you, Your Honor, when Mr. Zachary comes, and I brought this up earlier in a pretrial meeting, my understanding is that Ms. Love had him served, he being Mr. Zachary, served with a subpoena.
Okay.
It's a trial subpoena from what I was told. Ricky Richardson was his lawyer at that time. Ms. Love ordered Mr. Zachary the day before to drive from Augusta, Georgia, miss his job, to her office because she said if he doesn't come, Judge Glanville will lock him up. There was no trial going on. This in 2023, we were doing jury selection. I heard about that, so I raised it to Judge Glanville. This is abuse of power. You don't order somebody to come to your office with the hammer of the judge going to lock you up. Judge Glanville said, put on your evidence. He gave me an opportunity. Everybody said they didn't want to testify, so I didn't call anybody. Ricky Richards, I didn't call anybody, so I forfeited the motion. But my point is to say that, you know, somehow there's witness intimidation from Mr. Williams et al. I want to show what's really going on, and that ex parte meeting helps illustrate it. I will also ask Mr. Zachary, because I'm confident he'll know. It was not attorney-client privilege because it didn't just come from Mr. Richardson. He told me you can also speak with Mr. Zachary with Mr. Richardson, and he'll tell you the same. That's all we spoke about, coming to court. And he did come to the courthouse. I'm told that his father met him there too. This could be wrong because I'm not there. And then his father said, the law, there's no trial going on. My son's leaving. So that's what, there was no conversation.
Okay.
But my point is, this is not an isolated incident, and I'd like you to just allow the truth to flow. I'm not going to hurt Judge Glanville. I'm just going to state what was said. That's it. And it's really.
I'm out of beer, at least here. I need to go get some. Allow me to. Oh, let's see here. Let me play you a song called Fani the Corrupt while I go get some more beer.
Stolen through the halls of justice, a Viking lawyer with a scornful grin, mocking the prosecutor Fanny for stealing from the poor children, slashing white like a battle axe, unleashing fury upon the corrupt. No mercy for those who deceive, their downfall is what will construct.
All right. Yeah. All right. Let's go back to where we were. Yeah. Yeah. No, you can't dance. I mean, I have a song called Crooked Justice. That is my normal intro. Then it's Fanny the Corrupt, Justice of the Axe, Yeet the Judge, Viking Road Warrior, and some other stuff. Most of it, yeah. Okay, I'm back. Let's go again.
The impact, like you said, on Mr. Copeland.
All right. Thank you. Sure. Do you want to wait and see what Mr. Weinstein has to say first?
Okay. Briefly, Your Honor. the discussion this morning came up about Mr. Copeland being deprived of food and water at Rice Street, as well as conditions, other issues that happened at Rice Street between June 7th and June 10th. And I believe the court said, I may have misunderstood you, that several attorneys filed motions regarding the coercion in the chambers. Perhaps this is something that we should have brought up. I was completely unaware that that happened.
Well, it's not, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm not sure it did happen. He has some reason he thinks it may have happened.
Okay.
He Mr. Steele, but okay.
So I did not learn of this possibly happening then, let's put it that way, until I saw Mr. Copeland on social media this week. So this isn't something that I could have brought up regarding Judge Glanville and the coercion that took place. So if we do get further facts of that, I would like to bring that up with the court again, because it sounds like that could have influenced your decision on the coercion. Perhaps not, but I would like to bring it up in the future.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Engelberger.
Yes, Judge. I'm a little late to the party, obviously.
This is Woody's new attorney.
When we're talking about privileged communications, I understand there may have been a hearing about what was said to or discussed between him and his other lawyer, but as it relates to any communications between my client and I as of August 12th August 13th of 2024, obviously, I would assume this court understands those would be off the table in cross-examination.
All right. As far as I know, there haven't been any hearings about anything that was communicated just between Mr. Copeland and either Ms. Bumpus or Mr. Melnick. There was a hearing about things that might have been said with Ms. Hilton present with Mr. Copeland and Ms. Bumpus.
Okay.
Yeah, certainly. I understand privilege. Thank you.
Your Honor, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
There's two very quick things that I just wanted to address. One, and normally I'd ask that the camera be turned off for this, but I think I was wrong yesterday about
Okay, that's
this
funny.
statement
That's funny.
about the shooting of Rich Homie Kwan's barbershop. I don't believe that came up yesterday in the statement. And I've looked at the rest of the statement. I don't believe that topic comes up. So I know Your Honor asked me to send an email, and I'm just reporting back to the court on that.
All right.
And also, I just have a question. In the state's transcript with the redactions, there's some that are in red, some they're in different colors. And I'm just asking, as we review along, what the significance of the different colors are so we can check to make sure everyone's on the same page in real time.
Yes, Your Honor. There's some that I put in different colors because I had a question about.
Blah, 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 blah. All right. First of all, thank you to Jamie Hughes, who sent me super stickers with a balloon, a 5, and a heart. I don't know what that means, but thank you so much. And Jenny Hughes, I can't get PayPal, but will continue to try. I'm fine. What can I say? What can I say? I'm fine. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your $2 super chat. And then via PayPal to Jamie with $10, who just say, thank you, Nick. I mean, thank you back. Thank you back. I mean, when I started this channel in December of 2022, December 28th was my first proper content creator video, and it was crap. But first, don't go back to my first 2 months of content creation. It's really bad. Yeah. But I had a lot of fun doing it. But seriously, thank you all for the continuous support of my channel. Thank you all so much. Now, there is no need for. I mean, I appreciate everybody who does the super chat and everything. As long as you watch, you press the like, and then subscribe. That's enough, because as the channel grows and continues to grow, I get some. I think my ad revenue is at about $1.10 per 1,000 views, which means if I, by any chance, would get 100,000 views on one of my videos, that would bring me $100. I mean, I'm fine. I'm fine. But thank you all so very, very much. Thank you. Let's continue.
Anything that's in yellow and red, we're going to exclude, because that was something I had a question about, I think, based on things that have occurred in court. Those will be excluded.
Okay.
The only one that is in blue that I actually was going to bring up this morning, Your Honor, is page 202, line 14 through 20.
Oh no, don't go back and watch it.
We had previously discussed 14 to 20 when we first talked about redactions, I guess 2 weeks ago. This is the line in which Mr. Copeland says that he's aware that Shannon carries guns and carries it on him, and if you stop him,
Right.
he'll know that he has a gun. And I think at that point in time, Mr. Sharp brought up his objection based upon what we argued yesterday. And so the state wanted to know we were permitted to now play that part given what occurred yesterday, given your order or ruling yesterday.
Okay, so are you asking what is my ruling about that, or what are you asking?
Basically, we intend to play it, and we just want to make sure that that's fine. Based upon your ruling yesterday, we intend to play that section, but that was one of the sections that we had a question on 2 weeks ago. We didn't address it yesterday.
Yeah, okay, all right, so that blue has been taken care of, and you do intend to play that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Based on my rule, okay.
Yes, and while we're on it, Your Honor, I did go back yesterday to see if there were any other portions that could be redacted to kind of move the video along.
That's wonderful.
And
Thank you.
I do have a few
Okay.
portions that the state intends to redact. I just want to put it on the record.
Okay.
On those. So first is page 165, line 3 through page 167, line 16.
All right, and I guess give the defendants
So it's going to be 11.
chance to look at that and see if that's something they want in, or if it's just nothing anybody needs.
And the top, sure. It is him saying that he needed to pay for the light bill, and that's why him and Deshaun were getting into issues. He talks about the fact that the stolen items that were found in his house were taken from individuals who went outside, who went to go do a jug, which went to go do a robbery. And so that's why those items were in the house. And then the detectives questioning him about the fact that he gave his mother-in-law's car to these individuals and he didn't know what they intended to do. So,
Your Honor,
Yes.
we're going to object to the redaction of that. I mean, that, and I understand why the state would want to redact it. I mean, that's prime example of Mr. Copeland being caught with stolen goods in his house, in his car, and pushing the blame on others, which
All
is
right.
exactly what he's doing
Okay,
here.
so they would want that in. I guess they would play it anyway. So do you want to leave it in?
I'm going to leave it.
Okay.
The next, Your Honor, is page 176, line 14 through page 181, line 3.
Let's see here. Young says, still can just sit down at the prosecutor's table. No, he is leaning down or squatting down to talk to Miss Hilton. Because nobody talks to Miss Love, not one, barely even the prosecutors. for example, Ms. Love walked over to a few of the security, complaining about she was making jokes to them about how cold it was, and you could see how uncomfortable they were. Nobody in that courtroom likes Miss Love, not one of them, and the judge tolerates her. She is neutral because she has to.
And what's the general topic of that?
He talks about a few things here. His second child's mother wanted child support. Talked about some medical things with her that he paid for.
Yeah, okay. Now they're just talking about crap they showed in the interview. I don't really care about that. And now let's move forward to when they actually talk about interesting stuff again. So they played video, they played video, they played video, and then they had lunch. There were some electronics issues again, and Judge was not amused. Let's see when they got back here. Now, I mean, I got a completely new dynamic in the courtroom from the day I was in the courtroom. And yeah, not a single person in that courtroom likes being around Ms. Love. Are you talking about me now? Dave, what's going on? I'll ask Nick when he gets here. Okay, sure. Oh. I'm a bit bummed that they don't show what happens in the breaks. They just show the seal and remove the audio, because there's a lot going on the breaks. The interactions between the attorneys and Miss Hilton.
Ready for the jury. Mr. Atkins, can you hit play if we need you to do that?
How the defense attorneys goes up to Jeffrey's family and talk to them. And I mean, it is really interesting to be there in the courtroom.
Okay.
Maybe this wasn't as interesting. Hey, Woody's back on the stand, waiting for the jury. And the jury's back. So they're just going to play stuff. And then there's malfunction, and it's a break. Okay. Somewhere around here.
Jury out.
Yeah. Yeah, I won't be playing.
We're all gonna cross our.
I'm not going to play anything of the videos from today because it doesn't matter. It really doesn't.
Our fingers and see what happens. Let's get the jury out. And Mr. Copeland back.
And
in the meantime, I'm gonna personally request that IT order a backup to this ASAP. Is that even
I'm
working?
doing much better.
Did it already go out again?
Victoria. Thank you so much.
It's already starting to not work. So did we try the reboot thing?
It was just making clicking noises and that was not working. Is your mic working?
I don't know. Doesn't sound like it.
It's working.
Is it?
Hello.
Okay. I don't know. It just suddenly sounded different. It's so anyway. I think I'm just going to let the jury go home because it's already 3:00, and I mean it works for a second. It doesn't work for a second. Okay. Well, is that going to work? Let's hear what that sounds like because this is not working.
Yeah. Exactly, Missy Boo. Gaither keeps stating that Woodis was mixing some truth with lies, and he's been doing that all along. And why does he do that? It keeps him sometimes out of jail and out of prison. And he said it on the stand as well a couple of days ago. He just has to sprinkle a bit of truth and then lie his heart out. That's all he needs to do to get Cling and Clang, Chip and Dale, whatever you want to call the investigators, the two morons. Yeah. For me, that was so apparent from so early on that the gang expert division in the Atlanta Police Department, that department is where the absolute morons go when they can't do actual work. God, no, that's not good.
Is he on the bench? And say we need to back up ASAP. Like
Let's speed this up a bit.
Thank you.
Skip.
I'll switch it back to cross our fingers.
Yeah.
Well, that's no different than it was before. So wind it back to wherever you're going to stay. Well, I mean, to the extent you were listening before, just continue to listen. If you were listening or tuned out, I don't know. But
No, I'm saying when I had these on, I was hearing it, but like that, I can't hear it.
okay. Well, I mean, are you going to be asking him questions about this? You've already asked him. You already examined him. So
I have a few follow-ups, but it's stuff that already come in.
okay.
Your Honor,
The follow-up is to stuff that is already.
Your Honor, we're going to be asking him questions about it.
Don't get too comfortable. You're not going to be staying. So I'm just going to be sending y'all home early. It's Friday, so happy Friday. We have not been able to come up with a sufficient solution that seems to last for more than a few minutes. Hopefully in the 10 days between now and when we see y'all again, we will have solved this issue. But for now, I'm going to release you with the reminders that you should not discuss this case with anybody else or allow anybody else to discuss it with you or in front of you. Don't try to find out any information about the case from any source. Don't discuss the case amongst yourselves. Don't listen to or watch or otherwise take in any kind of media or other accounts about this case or anybody involved in it. And have a pleasant weekend and week and next weekend. And then I will see y'all. What is the date of that next Monday? Monday, the 26th at 9 a.m. Thank you.
Me too.
You don't go anywhere yet. Hang on just a sec. And now this is working. But, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that
Right.
is
Yeah,
a
now it's working great.
multi-million-dollar courtroom. And it's being brought down by 50-cent batteries. And whoever won the We Need Audio, the winning bid in the audio bit for the courtroom, yeah, you need a streamer, not even a big streamer, but go to a streamer who has good sound and pay them $5,000 to set everything up in that courtroom, and I can guarantee you would have state-of-the-art things for everybody. But they are using cheap stuff.
It's obviously not working well enough to count on. All right, so we shouldn't need Mr. Copeland until Monday, the 26th also, right? Okay, so Mr. Copeland, you can go for now. I'll be back here at 9 a.m. on Monday, the 26th.
Can I go now?
You may for now, yes. Be back Monday, the 26th at 9.
Okay. And directly to the left, where you see him walk out, that is where I sat a couple of days ago. And I did speak to him, not about this case, but me and Sylvia, me and one of Mr. Soho, one of the enormous security guy. We had fun conversations, just about this and that, not about the case. And I have to say, Woody is charming. He really is. He smiles, he pays attention. But for you who don't know, I've been doing labor law for over 30 years. I know I repeat that. Once in a while, I get to represent people who started working after a sentencing of sorts, after they had been released, and then somebody at that workplace finds out, and then it's a big crap show, and then I am one of the people who goes in there and says, no, you can't fire this guy just because of his past. And once in a while, I represent bikers, the vest-wearing kind of bikers. And there's a clear difference between the people who play and the people who are the real deal. By observing Woody live, I can understand why he at one point was considered top 10 of the most dangerous people in Atlanta. Let's just say that. All right, let's continue. When I
There
talk
was
about
one
the
other
real
solution that we
deal,
could
I am
potentially-
talking about what he is prepared to do to save himself, including the things he says, but also including the crimes he admitted to understand. Woody isn't scared of anyone or anything. That is what I'm talking about.
used. We have a Mondo board at the district attorney's office. We were not allowed to use it with the configuration that we had previously, where the jurors were sitting in front of the box.
I don't know what a Mondo board is.
I'll describe it. It's a very large computer screen, a very large computer
Okay.
on wheels that has a speaker attached to it, which may be loud enough for everyone in the far end of the courtroom to hear it undistorted, as well as allowing the jury to hear it.
Okay.
If the court is,
Do you want to wheel it up here and
Yeah.
let's give it a shot?
that was going to be my request, yes. So I'm having someone bring it over.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question about the Mondo board?
Of course.
Just- Are you going to be able to hook that headphone up to it so Mr. Copeland can hear off the Mondo board?
It would actually be easier to reach the headphones with the Mondo board being where we anticipate.
We'll give it a shot. Somebody can stand in for Mr. Copeland since I've released him and see if you can hear sufficiently and undistortedly through the headphones. Okay, while we wait, why don't we get a jump on our next week's work? Who's ready on anything? Y'all should be ready on something by now. Okay. All right. On the PowerPoint, we should have states either written or ready to have oral response by now.
Well, actually, Judge, I had not finalized that. I know we're getting a deadline. I was going.
Okay. Well, one side's ready, but I don't know how y'all are ready when you haven't given them your.
It's very hard.
Okay, so we're not ready on that. And I know that we haven't filed. Okay, let me ask you this. How about the issue of the Ryan motion to suppress his statement because of the incomplete Miranda warnings?
Or
allegedly incomplete Miranda.
Oh, this is interesting. This is Mr. Weinstein's motion, I kind of remembers. The motion he is trying to file as good as he can, that one of the witnesses that the prosecution wants to go present the interview of, he wasn't Mirandized properly. And this is good. This is good.
The warnings.
So if we need, I don't know if the court is addressing us, but if the court is, we need to have a Jackson general hearing, because again, that is not where I placed my focus. We were trying to make certain that other things the court instructed were done by today.
Okay, well, what was it that you were supposed to be doing by today?
Yeah, Blue Skies, thank you so much for your super chat. How come the state doesn't have their case organized? Because they didn't have to up until now. They had Judge Glanville as a judge who allowed them to do anything they wanted. This judge, even though I don't agree with her rulings, she demands of the state be organized, be prepared. Does she do anything about the times when they are not? No, she just gives them more time, but at least it is better than before, which is it's less crap. At least it's less crap. And thank you again for your super chat.
We were working on exhibits with the accompanying exhibits for the next 30.
So when were you going to get all of this 3 pages worth of things we're going to tackle next week to the court and to the defense for their consideration?
And I don't
Sunday at midnight.
Around because she has the link.
All right. Well, let me ask you this: on the Ryan motion to suppress, have you looked at it? Do you believe that the Miranda is complete? That the Miranda warnings are complete?
Your Honor, my position on that is that Mr. Ryan and his ability at this point to move to exclude that evidence would be untimely, number one. He has
What?
been convicted of it, and I believe
The motion to suppress his evidence is untimely. What a piece of crap. Miss Kims, I think you are an hour and a half behind, but no worries. You said on your live that Thug is the big boss, and basically said you thought Woody was telling the truth 15 years ago. He said he might have, I don't know, said he might have said that, but he might also have changed his mind. People are allowed to change their mind. Thank you so much for your super chat. I can't speak for Seti. You have to ask him about that. But in my personal opinion, even if Seti said this at one point in time, he is allowed to change his mind. But I can't speak for Seti Nash. He definitely can't speak for himself.
That having heard it, there's an argument to be made on both sides. Frankly, I hear what the officer is saying, and I think that there's just an argument to be made on both sides. To be fair. So,
Do you think that the law supports that if an incomplete Miranda is given, that the statement can nonetheless be used against the defendant?
not in the state's case in chief.
And y'all didn't use it in the case in chief, did you?
Not in the previous trial.
All right. And yet you think that you have some law that would permit you to use it in some later trial against the same defendant?
That's not what I was saying.
Okay. Well, I guess I will just wait eagerly to see what it is that your argument is going to be on that. Just trying to think of some of the really
And I am willing to
easy things.
I am willing to speak to Mr. Williams more after we get a couple of other things situated. If
Which Mr. Williams?
Miss D. Williams.
Oh, Miss D. Williams.
D. Williams.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought you said Mr. Williams. Apparently I'm hard of hearing too.
No, so I will communicate with her, and if our position changes because of the issue, she'll know, and the court will know before Monday.
Okay.
Oh, you.
Alrighty. Well, I know that I haven't,
You both.
Mr. Weinstein, gotten your promised motion to exclude Mr. Kendrick's first couple of hours of his statement. But the teaser was that y'all had just found out that he was represented by an attorney in an unrelated matter. And therefore, law enforcement should have reached out to
This one is
that
also
attorney
excellent.
before questioning him in this matter. Am I right about what the basic theory is?
That's the basic theory, but I
Okay.
am
Yeah. What might have happened is something that happened to Woody. The prosecution reached out to him knowing he was represented the last time they had contact with Mr. Copeland. And here is another example of the prosecution reaching out and interviewing a possible witness without contacting his lawyer the last time he was represented. That's twice.
I am not prepared to argue that today, and I am
Okay.
still working on the motion. And
Okay.
I think that Mr. Apt maybe clarified that would be filed tomorrow.
Yeah, he did. That just pretty much seems like black letter law to me as well. And I don't know, maybe there's some U.S. Supreme Court cases that have come out recently or since I took criminal law in law school that answer that question differently than how I was taught it. But so I will also eagerly await whatever your legal theory is.
Thank
So,
you, Your Honor.
Okay, great.
Perhaps that's why I'm still working on it.
Perhaps that's why. Okay. All right. Well, let's see. I mean, I don't know if there's any point in going back over the list that I have reviewed with y'all almost every day this week, because there may be nothing that both sides are ready on. And I realize that I'm a few days ahead of where I thought we would be, or when I thought we would be taking these things up, but just thought those two might be easy ones. Oh, do we have the ability yet to identify, other than whatever was in the wiretaps, any other co-conspirator statements that y'all on the defense maintain are late identified?
Your Honor, we maintain that all statements beside the 3 statements provided.
And I understand that, and y'all told me that.
Let me play back a few seconds and see if you notice it.
Your Honor, we maintain that all statements beside the 3 statements provided.
And
When Ms. Love isn't directly involved, she doesn't even sit at the prosecution's table. She sits at the investigator's table. Because nobody at the prosecution table is talking to her. None of them. None, not one of them. Okay, let's go back and listen to what is actually being said here as well.
Identified. Your Honor, we maintain that all statements beside the three statements provided.
And I understand that, and y'all told me that before, but I don't know what that, not the three that were identified before, not anything from the wiretaps. Are there others? And if so, what are they?
Okay, so the state, I thought that where we left it, and I wasn't even here that day, but I watched the video, that where we left it is that the state has provided hundreds of wiretaps and jail calls and still have not identified statements within those hundreds. So for us on our side to go through the hundreds, guess the statements that the state is going to may use, and then give them that list would take a significantly long time, when what the state could do, because I'm sure they have their case lined up by now, is to give us the statements that they've identified. And then if we have a legal argument against them, we can make that argument. And just for the record, Judge Glanville not only told them to provide all of the statements back in December of 2022, but after that, he told them to not only identify statements, but any evidence that they've identified, transcripts, any of the case, videos, that if they know that something is inadmissible, they need to go ahead and redact it. Tell us, hey, I'm going to introduce this. I've already redacted things that I know as an experienced litigator. It's probably not admissible. And then if we have any further redactions, to let them know. So that is the way this was supposed to move timely, not be a trial by ambush, not have the jury sitting outside waiting on us to get through the issues. These are the orders from Glanville. And Your Honor, respectfully, none of them get followed.
Boom. Oh. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, that is exactly what Judge Glanville said to the prosecution. And to this day, the prosecution still refuses to do it.
I'm noticing that.
Now, let's go and listen to this from the black law student. Oh no, there.
Us to get through the issues. These are the orders from Glanville, and Your Honor, respectfully, none of them get followed.
I'm noticing that.
Did you hear that? Let's go back. That was a hot mic moment from the judge. After this attorney finishes with the statement, this prosecution does not follow this.
These are the orders from Glanville, and Your Honor, respectfully, none of them get followed.
I'm noticing that.
I'm noticing that.
What did she say? I'm noticing that?
Yes.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And we just got a hot mic moment from Valhalla. He heard it too. That was a hot mic moment from Judge Whittaker, noticing and acknowledging the prosecution does not follow court orders. And look at Miss Love's face right after it. Oh crap. Oh crap.
How about, I had asked about the January 10th.
Yeah, that's
The blurb at the beginning
That was,
of the day?
and you, Miss Love, weren't here at the time, and we wondered if maybe you knew the origin of that.
I heard, and I do know the origin
Okay.
of that. So if I'm,
Yeah, Sean, what is your opinion on the hot mic moment? If you can.
Yeah, sorry, Nick. I had a little trouble getting back in here earlier. I don't know if that was meant. Like, I think she meant for that to be heard.
Yeah.
I think she like that. I don't know if that was a hot mic or she's like, you know, her mic's on. She's like, yeah, I'm kind of noticing that too. She's just talking. Like, yeah, I don't disagree. I think in the States, just like now, the one thing I will say about Love going to the back, dude, those tables, like the three of them at a table at a time, I guarantee you they're like, we need room. This is annoying.
Nope.
Or is it just Love the only one going back?
That is an enormous table. I mean,
oh, it is? Okay.
At each end, there's a good 2 feet of room at each end when they are all three sitting there.
Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah, she's just being a bitch.
Yeah. And nobody talks to her. She talks to them, and they make these really short answers. Yes, no, maybe. They don't want any. They don't.
I'm sure this is horrible to work with.
Yeah. And it's so noticeable when you're in the courtroom. I mean, I'm very, very happy I was in the courtroom to see all of these dynamics, and especially watching Woody watching himself.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so telling.
You know what? You should have. You know what the coolest thing would have been? I was just thinking about this. You should have got a YSL album and had all the attorneys autograph it. The defense attorneys. That'd be great.
I am planning, however I can plan it, to go back for closing statements. Because the chat and everybody has been so supportive and generous. I think I have the funds to spend the last week of trial. Maybe not because I don't know about the jury deliberations, but the last few days, including closing statements, I want to be there in that courtroom.
So you mean sometime in 2025?
Yeah. Around what holidays are around Easter of 2025?
Yeah. After we've had a new presidential inauguration, you'll be able to.
Oh, Miss Love's last act as an ADA will be to jail me, and then I will have content for years. Yeah. But I mean, and still, the judge, because when she says this out loud, that means she's been noticing this for a while. And she still makes the decisions she's making.
Remember, at the end of the day, she's part of the government.
Yep. Yep, she is. She is. But as I said, if this trial doesn't get yeeted, because the prosecution will keep forking up, they can't help themselves, because their entire case is gossip, all of it. But if it gets to closing arguments, now I do have contact with a few of the defense attorneys, so I can get some heads up. I want to be there for closing arguments in that courtroom. I have to be there. Okay, that's
that'll be fun.
Sorry, what you say?
I said that will be fun, but you have to hope that inflation doesn't get out of control in the 10 years this trial will take.
I mean, the cost of everything. I mean, I've been to a bunch of fast food, the Wendy's and everything, and what I get. I mean, where did I go? Did I go to? Yeah, I got to Whataburger and got a $17 meal. In Swedish money, that is about 200 Swedish krona. I can get two Big Mac meals, two of them.
Oh wow!
Under 200 Swedish krona, what I purchased one Whataburger meal for.
Oh, okay. Hey, have you been to Waffle House before?
No, first time a couple of days ago.
Oh, you have? Okay, good.
Yeah, I had their breakfast thingy, the full plate.
Yes.
Oh, with the waffle and the grits and the.
Gotta get the hash browns.
Okay, hash browns next time. I got the grits.
Yeah.
The grits this time, and the bacon.
Oh.
That thin bacon, crisp bacon. Oh.
Well, what kind of waffle did you have?
I had the pecan waffle.
Oh, there you go,
With,
my man.
with butter on. And,
Of course. Pecan waffle's the best.
Oh, I just sat there and I thought, such nice people, and this was like a $12 or $13 meal at that place. I don't know if it's the same everywhere.
It's roughly the same.
Yeah, and I just gave her a 20 and said, I'm good. So, I mean, I'm not the big tipper unless I get something I didn't expect to get.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it because that's a good meal. It's a good place to eat.
That's a good meal. And I took a picture of it and I sent it off to my dad. And now he's mad at me because he's on a diet.
Mm.
And now he's in his.
You went to Chick-fil-A today?
What's up?
You went to Chick-fil-A today?
Yeah.
Oh, you had God's chicken. What do you think?
I mean, the chicken fillet burger thingy with that, not the curly fries, but the waffle fries. Yeah, that's good. That was interesting. And I poured some of their specialities, sauce gravy thingy. Yeah, I can see that again. I can see that. We don't get why don't they have a Waffle House in Sweden? That would make so much money.
Well, there you go, franchise.
Oh, well, I'm going to. Can I franchise a Waffle House in Sweden? That would be amazing. Who said milkshake? Where? I haven't had milkshake yet in the United States.
Well,
sorry.
Well, I was gonna say, I think they mean a Chick-fil-A milkshake. Those are really good.
Okay, no, I didn't have one. I will, because I'm going on Sunday. I'll be off to Indiana to meet Kaiser and Mo, because Kaiser promised me an Indiana barbecue with brisket and beef ribs and pork ribs and everything. I might send some videos about that barbecue on this channel and on my road trip channel. Yeah, what I discovered, what I didn't realize my first weekend in Houston, because I always heard about the American size portions. As it turns out, I kind of already ate American sized portions, so this wasn't new to me. So I got, look at that meal, and I went, yeah, that's my meal. So, but then again, I'm not. I'm kind of a big dude. I mean, I am roughly 6'3", but I'm closer to 6'4" after I've been to a chiropractor. And when I traveled here, I was at 270. I think I'm closer to 285 now.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, some things were awful, like the rental company and the flights and everything. But the food, yeah. Buffet. Oh, I haven't had a buffet yet. Michigan. Is there a good buffet in Michigan? Because I already had have the barbecue in Indiana.
Go to Golden Corral.
Golden Corral in Michigan. Okay.
No, don't go to Golden Corrals, but you'll find buffets all over the place.
No, I didn't say I'm kind of a big deal. I'm kind of a big dude. I mean, close to 6'4", 285. Yeah, I think even by American standards, that's a big dude. I mean, I'm taller.
He'd be
and the
average.
same- yeah, I'm taller and the same weight as Brock Lesnar. The weight is just not arranged the same way. All right. Let's listen to. We have some.
Not
more
mistaken,
to
the court
listen
was inquiring and there was a motion of sorts regarding the date at the top of the picture of Mr. Stillwell looking out of Mr. Williams' condo, contemplating. So that photograph, Ms. Hilton was correct in that Mr. Zachary told the police that he took the photograph a few days earlier or in.
Sorry, Sean, can you entertain people? I'm on beer number 5, and
Okay.
I kind of need to go to the big boys' room.
Okay.
Yeah, just watch it and say something in between.
Yeah,
the latter part of 2014. However, the date on the photograph comes from as it was placed on the social media page, the same way that the date of a posting appears on any Instagram or Twitter or whatever. The date of the posting is under the picture that is posted. So I didn't, unless I misinterpreted what the question was, the answer is that it was screen grabbed from Mr. Stillwell's account. And the date of the posting as shown on his social media page was January 10th, 2015.
Okay, well, it didn't, if it's a screen grab, is this the screen grab?
I'd have to see the
Well, it's what's filed in the motion.
No, that's a picture of the screen grab. That's the
Motion
problem
limiting
here.
regarding admissibility of social media posts and alleged date of posting that was
Date.
filed 8/15.
Oh yeah, no, this is the problem here.
Ms. Percival, can you hand that to her, please? See that little,
Oh, so
hand it back to me.
What that is, Your Honor, is that when a person is looking on the social media page and they want to know the date of a posting and they hover, it'll pop up or pop out in that manner.
I don't know about that.
Are you gonna have somebody that is gonna be able to testify to that?
We sure are.
And
Because it was done on
so
more than one.
somebody hovered, that date appeared, and then y'all took the screenshot or whatever, screen grab?
Two things. We, in not just this instance, in other instances as well, we not only captured it as it was shown, like if it was January the 10th, 2015 on the picture itself, but we also went back, the person who was looking at the social media page and hovered just to get that pop out that the court is looking at on that exhibit. So in multiple cases, we have a screenshot of a social media page with the date on it, and then a corresponding screenshot with the hovering where the date pops out.
So will you then intend to?
Why do both?
He is so full of shit here. That is a picture because they couldn't get a screen grab. They took a camera and took a picture of somebody hovering over the picture that showed a certain date.
That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like it's a picture of a picture, which means that's not the original. I mean, now we're getting to like second and third hand pieces of evidence.
Yeah, I mean, it's so stupid. And this, I remember when Mr. Former ADA Sprinkle was in the Daubert hearing, this was brought up. And he just collected it. He had nothing to do with who did it, how they did it, and when they did it. He only collected it, and he is the one who twice recommended to the case manager to dismiss the charges because there was no evidence to support. There was no evidence, enough evidence for anything. I can't wait for for former ADA Sprinkle to get on the stand. He will, if he's anything like the Daubert hearing, he will be an amazing defense witness. And I think they will go into this in this discussion when when Ms. Love has to explain that, oh, sorry, Your Honor, I kind of lied to you. Mr. Sprinkle did not do this. Oh, it's so stupid. It's so stupid.
Admit it is, or offer it as, are you going to have both of those things available?
Both, yes. I mean, yes, in terms of what we intended to proffer.
It would be the screenshot as you look at it, or the screen grab as you look at it.
Yes.
That has it the way we normally see it. And then also the hover, and then also somebody that is going to be able to say, when we see these dates, we have a reasonable degree of confidence that they actually mean what they say.
Yes.
And why?
We would have the person who first saw it and pulled it from the page, one, talk about what's on the screen grab, what's on the exhibit, and two, what the date means on the exhibit based on their understanding and knowledge of that particular social media platform. And three, we would ask, because I wouldn't see a need to admit both the original posting and the posting where it's popped out, but just as a next layer of confirmation as to the date that it was posted, we would ask, hey, how do you know? And then that person would say,
here's the thing. When you go to that specific platform, you can take the picture at one point, you can post it at another point, and you can edit it on a third point. So there's no way of knowing when that picture was even posted, because the only thing that shows when you hover is the last time it was edited. And it's so incredibly stupid. And I hope to everything holy that the defense attorneys have this zoned in, because they will destroy this.
Well, you can also hover over the picture or the posting and the date pops out. And if the question becomes, well, did you do that? Yes, here's that exhibit with that pop out date.
All right. And is there any objection to, I know this shows like some comments also. Is there objection to that?
There is, and in my, as I was preparing an exhibit, we, in accordance with what usually has occurred, is we take out all the extra comments, and my prepared exhibit has that all taken out. So I just wanted to put I didn't want anyone to say I did anything to the one that I was putting in my motion. But can I inquire about that? Because just so the court understands, in this discovery dump 1 to 2, that's where this picture is, to my understanding. I know it's there. It may be other places. And it just says, it's a folder, it says social media, and then there's a bunch of pictures. I don't know at this point, unless I missed it, I don't know who hovered over what picture, who collected this or anything like that. So I'm just trying to understand who's going to authenticate how this was collected and what date.
Guess who the prosecution has to call.
Yeah, they have to call the person who did the hovering. They have to call the person who took the picture. All of that has to be authenticated.
Yeah. Can you imagine who the hovering person is?
And that hovering person, are they really going to be credible enough to say how it all works? They're like, I put mouse on picture and date pop up. Like, that's not enough to authenticate it.
That's the investigator Gaither, the least competent cop of all times. I've been doing labor law. I recognize when a person has been given the option of either you quit or you get fired. And Investigator Gaither quit before her 20 years as a cop in Atlanta, just around her 19th year. Then she got a job at the neighboring county as an investigator for the district attorney's office. She spent 4 months there before she quit. Yeah, she was fired, but they gave her the option to quit unless, and I may or may not have gotten this information to the defense team, because if that happened, there is probably an NDA in place, and that NDA they can subpoena.
Wait, who's got an NDA, do you think?
What you say?
Wait, who do you think has an NDA?
I think Gaither got an NDA from either the Atlanta police department or the Cobb County District Attorney's Office. You quit unless, or we will fire you, but you have to sign this NDA first. Somewhere
NDA
there's
won't
an
be binding
NDA.
at all.
What?
The NDA will not be binding. I mean, he's gonna. If they bring it up, it's like I don't see how that survives the scrutiny.
No. Yeah, I completely agree. But they have to know what to look for in order to subpoena that information.
Yes, I agree with that. Yes, sorry.
Yeah. So may or may not have brought that to their attention with my experience in the field that there should be, and there probably will be, an NDA. And they have to look for it themselves, but because I don't have the professional thingy in the United States to write all of these proffers, but they should be able to get it if they find a reason other than me to bring it. I hope they do. Just the look on her face on the stand if they get that NDA. Oh. And I'm going to take full credit because why not?
It was and how they hovered over the picture.
Have we gotten to the production of that information yet?
Your Honor, we have that in, they turned over attorney work product. So that information is contained within a report that was authored by, I believe, Mr. Sprinkle in our office. So and that actual picture is addressed directly.
Okay.
So in as much as we turn that report over.
All right. Sounds like it's Mr. Sprinkle.
He's one of the people who addresses that report, that social media posting.
Okay.
And
remember how Ms. Love said, we can proffer it. It's not that easy, isn't it, Ms. Love? First we say, Mr. Sprinkle, it's in a report Mr. Sprinkle authored. Yeah, but in that report, he acknowledges that it's not he who did it. He just received that information from somebody, and that somebody is apparently investigator Gaither.
But is contained in what it shows.
The person who collected this photo and hovered, or is he just making reports saying, I've got a pile of papers that are in a file and one of them happens to be a picture of Mr. Stillwell?
The way that we got the photo or knowledge that we should be looking there is from one of the investigators, the gang investigator, Gaither, who was working on the case, looking through social media files. Mr. Sprinkle, as I understand his report and as I understand my conversations with him, and I will make certain that what I'm saying is absolutely correct. Mr. Sprinkle addresses in his report this social media posting, and then he talks about the date that it was posted. My memory is that he talks about the popping out, but I have to look at that. But I know that it is definitely Mike Sprinkle and Investigator Gaither that, and as with the rest of them, he addresses quite a number of social media postings, both he and other investigators that have worked on the case.
I hope, because next week it's only because Glanville gave them the next week off. I hope the judge wants to hear this from Mr. Sprinkle himself. Oh, he has a story to tell. If it's anywhere near the Daubert hearing, this will be interesting.
So at least we've got that answered. Or not.
It's been answered respectfully, Your Honor, but I guess this is just my way of saying this evidence did show up in their list of exhibits that they plan to introduce in the near future, and I am flagging my objection for the reasons I stated, and I guess we'll see how things transpire.
I mean, sounds like a maybe authentication objection, maybe.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, so you're going to be put to the task of establishing that. Okay.
Have anybody heard former investigator Gaither's story? If not,
No.
Investigator Gaither is from Chicago. I think, yeah, yeah.
Home of the most non-corrupt city in the world.
Yeah, and apparently she had family in some gang or something. Then she moved, and so that is her experience in gangs. She is from Chicago. And well, there. Okay, I accidentally unplugged myself. Okay. Miss Gaither moved to the Atlanta region to start school. And she went to college and dropped out. Then took an odd job here and there until she decided, hey, I want to be a cop. So she attended cop school. And she became a cop. And for the this is in her Dorbert hearing. She spent the first 4 years as an Atlanta cop avoiding 911 calls. Then her superiors took notice, and then she became a department jumper for 3 years. No, more than that. Well, she jumped around departments until she got to the gang unit in Atlanta, which apparently is the department where the worst cops imaginable end up because they can't be trusted anywhere else. And there she made a name for herself and she got promoted. But after 19 years in total in the Atlanta police force, she suddenly quit. Allegedly, it was because in a separate internal affairs investigation, another investigator was on the take and was fired and everything. And as a result of that, she quit or got the option to quit after 19 years. That is Investigator Gaither, which the prosecution now says, oh, trust her. She did the hovering. I'm not even joking. I don't even think I am embellishing her idiocracy. And remember, in the interview, there's Woody, it's Detective Gaither, and Mr. Detective Thorpe. Woody says Detective Thorpe is the squirrel brain. I don't understand how she was ever being acknowledged as a gang expert by George Lanville, because this
it's Nick, the way police get qualified as experts in things,
yeah, I know,
is a scam in of itself. It's a scam in of itself.
Yeah, I know.
I hate to do this, Nick, but I need to get going, so I need to bow out.
No worries. I probably have 10-15 minutes more. But thank you so much. Everybody go over to Potentially Criminals YouTube. Yeah. You will not be disappointed.
Well, and tonight we'll be working on some models, so that'll be fun tonight.
Okay.
We'll probably be doing it around 10 o'clock, so.
Yeah. But thank you for showing up. Thank you so much.
Of course. And Nick, I can't wait to see the rest of your travels.
Yeah. I'm having the time of my life.
Oh, I bet you are. I bet you are. All right. Take care, Nick. Be safe.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
All right, let's continue with this.
How far away is the Mondo board?
Did you keep?
Okay, so Mr. Steele had brought a challenge to, and I may be misstating this, but I think to including for the jury's consideration, I guess, overt acts that.
Oh, I forgot. Thank you, Jerome Street, for your super sticker, and it was a high five. Yay! Thank you so much, Jerome Street. Thank you. Thank you for your support of this channel.
Occurred prior in time to the RICO statute. Is that right? Or is it not? It could be not right.
I think it's right.
Okay.
For verdict. So the example that, the obvious example that I use in my mind is there's 191 overt acts.
Right.
And let's say overt act, the rental of the Infinity happens on January 7th of 2015. That's the only overt act that's proven. Every other 190 are not proven. There would not be a conspiracy because the overt act is not within 5 years. So my point is, I understand that the conspiracy allegedly continues and the state of Georgia can put in, if the court permits, different examples of predicate acts and overt acts.
And do you agree that they can put in for consideration overt acts that occurred further back in time than the 5 years?
Yes, the case law says that that's appropriate.
Is your argument just that unless at least one of the overt acts that the jury finds, I'm going to have to start over because I can't remember how I started that. Unless at least one of them is within that 5-year statute, then they can't be convicted. That's your argument. Yeah.
Perfect.
I mean, I think y'all agree with that. That it didn't sound like, that isn't what I understood your argument to be before, but if that's what your argument is, then yes, I agree. That appears to be the law.
So so I'm not hearing that he's asking that 190, that there's a form for that includes 190 overt acts on the verdict form, because, and this is the reason I'm asking about that, because any relevant information or evidence that is permitted at trial that constitutes an overt act. The overt act does not have to be alleged on the indictment.
Oh, this bull crap. Yeah, let's just listen to the absolute horrifyingly bad arguments from this law.
Indictment, and we certainly don't. That list that is contained within count 1 has never been represented as an exhaustive list of overt acts. And the overt acts that we introduce at trial don't have to be included in count 1. And if the jury finds, I mean, I understand what Mr. Steele is saying, and I'm not arguing with that last summation that the court gave. But my point is that I understood him to be saying something akin to, I want a special verdict form that includes the overt acts that are listed on the indictment. And I want them to say if they found this one, this one, this one. And if the ones that they find occurred prior to 5 years before the indictment, then they cannot find the defendant guilty of that count 1.
If only the ones they find occurred more than 5 years prior.
Right. That's
then
what
they
I
can't
understood
find
him
them
to be
guilty.
saying. Yes. So
we're all on the same page then.
So as long as we're not talking about listing out the 191.
Oh, we might be talking about listing out the 191, because how can I know whether they found one within the statute unless they say yes or no as to each of them?
Well, they could state, they don't have to, the reason that I would object to putting 191 is that it would limit them to consideration of 191. And if evidence of one that happened, for instance, during the course of this trial is not on the indictment.
It's not. And we haven't gotten to that, but I would think they can consider that potentially. But if the only thing they find is an overt act is something that occurred post-indictment in the jail, and that's the only thing they find, they can't be convicted because you haven't indicted them for that.
Oh, Your Honor, yes, you can. And I will get that case law for the court.
Okay, well,
but
I'll
definitely
be interested in seeing how they can get convicted of something they weren't indicted for, but okay. I have so much exciting case law to look forward to.
Yes, Your Honor, the court does. They were indicted for conspiracy to commit, to violate the Georgia Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. The overt act, that's count 1. The overt acts that are listed in the indictment they were indicted for conspiracy and A and B? No, they were indicted for conspiracy.
Okay.
And so all the jury needs to find after they find that there's an enterprise, that there's conspiracy, that people participated in it, only one person has to commit one overt act for the jury to find them guilty of count one. And not by them, I mean all of the people that they determined were part of the enterprise. Right. So if they find and believe that during the course of this trial, an act that is considered that can constitute an overt act was committed by either one of the defendants, then they have what the law requires to convict each of the defendants that they find participated in or conducted this conspiracy guilty of count one. So the notion that you enumerate.
Yeah, sadly, Ms. Love is correct here. This is how the Georgia RICO Act is written. The jury only needs to find one person guilty of one overt act in this conspiracy. What she doesn't say is that if that conviction isn't one of the two murder charges in this, if they are found not guilty on the murder charges, then though that statute of limitations is gone. That is how I read it. But I'm not a Georgia lawyer, remember that. But if everybody is acquitted from the two murder charges, that statute of limitations should be completely gone. And all of a sudden, they have to rely on the statute of limitations in all the other overt or underlying acts. Sadly, that is how the Georgia lawmakers want it to be. Sadly. Now, the rest of this day is not that interesting. But next week, we will have hearings, and those will be really, really interesting to listen to, because I find it more entertaining and more rewarding to watch and try to translate those to you. Now, what's been going on in court? I do recaps. I try to translate everything to you guys. But the hearings are the interesting part, because that is where probably where this trial is concluded. So, and by the way, for you who do not know, today is Jeffrey Williams' birthday. He spends today, for the third year in a row, he spends his birthday in jail. I asked the Suno.com, an AI songwriter, to make a song about a rapper being on trial on his birthday. So with that, and I will be sending you all off to the expert who is doing his Friday night stream. I will join there later. It will be amazing. But happy birthday, Jeffrey. If the family of Mr. Williams sees this, prayers on you. And with that said, everybody, thank you for allowing me to do this. Thank you for showing up day in and day out to support me on this channel, but primarily to support Mr. Williams. Thank you so much. And with that, I haven't even listened to this one, but Suno hasn't failed me yet. Hug your family, folks. Unless your family's crap, then screw them and give your love to the people who deserve it. See you later. Bye-bye.
court day in the court, chains glisten, no sport. Judge looking like he's seen a ghost drop retort. Call me drama king, lawyers in a discord. Streets buzzing, case hotter than the export. Cake in the cell, bars flowing, no bail. Click in the back, homies never derail. Whispers in the wind, shooting high, fairy tale. Life a roller coaster, trial on a rail. Birthday in the box, no party, just locks. Pinstripe suit, fighting clocks like vacuums, electro shock. Beat thumping in my cranium, trial shocks. Gavel slamming, my life's a paradox. Jury playing dice, my fate on the edge. Prosecutor Wallen pushing me to the ledge. 23 candles, I ain't blowing, just reg. Future in the balance, hope hanging on a pledge. Birthday blues, no babble. Mumble through my struggle, life a gamble. Buzz my only language, heart in a scramble. Lights dim, shadows dance, life a shamble. Cell block, serenade, bars spit like grenade. Prison yard parade, silhouette in the shade. Eyes on the scope, future slowly fade. Birthday on trial, destiny masquerade.